这是一双很坚硬的手，摸起来像熊掌一样，觉得很有力、很强壮，但是坚硬中又透露着一丝柔软。
Something that made you feel like your hands were powerless.
Probably like the first time I trained jiu-jitsu. I remember I trained with a guy that was like a lot skinnier than me. And I knew because I like done a lot of research into it that like technique's like really important. But obviously when you go in there you think, oh yeah, I'm gonna still do well. And there's this little like nerdy kids beat the shit out of me, and it was really like humbling, and also like a bit scary just because like you know, if some like little guy can beat you up, it's kind of like doesn't make sense, doesn't really like compute, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I guess that's one time. Yeah, and then anytime I roll with Ross, anytime I roll with Ross, just he's really good, and you can't do anything to him.
And do you think your hands is different when you're doing the jiu-jitsu is different than your daily life?
Yeah. I mean like your hands get a lot of like wear and tear. Like my knuckles have already like started to get a bit bigger. You can't really notice it because obviously like they're not that bad, but because you're making grips all the time, you're like doing this, and then obviously the guy doesn't want you to get a grip, so it's doing off as hard as you can. So yeah, your hands get like destroyed.
Do you think your hand is different than other people?
Oh yeah,
sometimes...
definitely. I mean like people that like
definitely. Oh
definitely,
my God, you're really
yeah.
confident.
No. Just because like people that don't do like any sort of fighting, like they don't really like you unless they're like do a lot of like labouring, like electrician or like scaffolding. Like their hands are like, because most people just like type all day, just type in an office, you know. But like my hands, for sure, are different just because people always breaking my grips. It's as hard as possible, you know.
Do you think when you start to learning the jiu-jitsu, your hand have something change?
Yeah, for sure. Like you get like after training, you get like little. If you're training in the gi, you get like a lot of like red marks because like you hold onto the grip. Yes, but yeah, what will happen is I'll probably end up getting arthritis in my hands if I do it for long enough because you're making like a grip like this. What happens is your hands eventually it just turns into like this just because you're so used to gripping compared to like everyone else whose hands are always going to be like normal, you know. But like if you're making grips like this for like 20 years, your hands just eventually turn into like that.
Moment when your hands made a movement like a hug or something that felt different to the touch.
Yeah, I mean like I guess one time where I felt like really like powerful, I guess, with my hands was like the first time I like competed. I did really well, and I was using a lot of my like hands, I guess, competing. And I remember like I won my first match, and I felt just like on top of the world, you know. Felt on top of the world. It was sick. Yeah. Because I had like a big adrenaline rush, and then when I finally won, there was like a big like there was a lot of relief. I felt like a lot of relief, you know. And yeah, that's when I felt like up here, you know.
这是一双摸起来骨骼很坚硬的手，但它的皮肤又是很柔软的。它的手指上有很多的这种牙印，应该是一个比较喜欢咬指甲的人。它的手背上有这样断断续续的红点，应该是过敏的缘故吧。它手掌的纹路非常清晰，觉得不像是一个会经常打篮球的人。爱打篮球的男生手都是比较粗糙的，但他的手摸起来很柔软很细腻，我觉得他是一个比较温柔的人。
如果用一个词形容你的手，你觉得你会用什么词汇？
我觉得是粗糙吧。我以前有过一个想法，就是我觉得我对我身上最不满意的一个部位就是我的手，因为我很喜欢去咬手指。长大了可能就没有这种习惯了，它就慢慢会好一点。
怎么不满意你的手呢？就是因为它的外观吗？
就是因为它的外观，因为我的指甲有些也不是长得很对称，我也很不喜欢。
看来你是一个很注重就手部保养的人，是吗？
因为我到了英国这里，我会有湿疹，因为这里的环境对于中国而言 去了铺子买了很多的湿疹药，做饭要接触洗洁精这种比较伤手的东西，所以呢就每天都涂那种护手的那种霜，就不会有什么问题了。
做饭的时候戴手套，是因为你手部过敏是吗？
对，
有没有就是人生中有没有发生什么对于你来说手部印象特别深刻的事情？亲人啊、爱情啊 ，whatever。
今天是我姥爷的9年忌日，因为我之前想学艺术的时候，我的姥爷不太愿意，家庭姥爷这方面可能比较传统。姥爷最后就是在他临走前，他就是让我把手拿过去，他就抓着我的手，然后他就告诉我，就说让我想学什么就去学什么，想做什么就去做什么。其实那一次触感，这个可能是因为生离死别这个原因，还有从小是姥爷带大这个原因，就他是可能是一辈子都忘不掉的。
你觉得你的手跟其他人有什么不一样的吗？
我觉得，我想这个手变得更纤细。我的手其实是比较小的类型的，对，就是我可能跟各种身高差不多的人的去比的话，我的手甚至会比女生的手小。所以我觉得，我倒也不想要那种特别纤细的手，但是我觉得它起码要大一点，会让我更舒服。因为我以前是篮球运动员，但是呢，我一直没有办法去用一只手把一个篮球给抓起来。我觉得那个时候，在我52、53岁的时候是非常自豪的一件事，但我做不到。
坚硬和柔软的手，你觉得你选择哪一个？
我选择柔软的手。牵手，不管是跟什么人牵，它是一个有触感的，这个其实是人的一个感官嘛，对吧？我的性格而言，我更喜欢硬柔一点的手。
因为你喜欢柔软人，然后你认为自己也是个比较柔软的人。
不是喜欢柔软的人，是喜欢柔软的，可以说是物体，包括手。
这是一双很冰冷的手，非常纤长，让我觉得甚至不像男生的手应有的样子。在我印象当中，男生的手都是很粗壮有力的，他的手也很坚硬，像鹰爪一样，但是也不是一丝优雅。他的手保养得很好，我猜他的职业大概是 IT 一类的工作吧。
So, what soft emotion story has happened in your life?
A soft emotional story.
Uh-huh.
Anything. I would say, as of most recent, my grandmother passed away through secondhand smoking, so through the lungs, and it meant she was on her deathbed for a very long time. And during that time, my dad had also broken his knee, and so it was very hard for him to take him to the hospital to see his mom. And around that time, our family was very vulnerable to a lot of things. But so eventually, she passed away a few months afterwards. And yeah, the family was very upset, obviously, and a bit confused on what to do next and where to go, because my grandmother was she had a lot of wisdom, and she took care of the whole family a lot whenever she could. But now that she wasn't there, especially for my dad's side of the family, they were very confused on what to do and where to go and how to handle this. But I think family is always there for whenever you need them. So right now we're okay, but I'd say that's the most recent.
So, you got a good relationship with your grandma?
Yeah, it was very good.
You're living with her in your childhood?
I live with my parents, but we would travel to my grandparents' house every weekend.
So, did you feel like something different when your grandma held it and you touched her hand? And
Yeah,
different?
when I touched it, it was very soft at first, like it wasn't moving. And then when I started talking to her, I said, "Hi Lola, this is Sunny.
Oh my
I
God.
hope you're doing okay." Yeah, and I felt slight grip. Yeah, and then after that, she let go. And
I saw you when you were writing the script. You're using a left hand. You have tried using a left hand.
yeah, oh, that's actually I have a story about that. My so in Filipino culture, there's it's like a thing where it's like if your child is left-handed or is seen drawing of left hand or writing, in Filipino culture that can be seen as a bad omen, and so they try they say to the mother, you should try get your child to start write, like force him to write on his right hand instead. But my mum didn't care. She was just like, you're left-handed, just fuck it.
So you're using the left hand in your daily life, not only writing, but also in something like cooking or do something.
Yeah, mainly my left hand. I'm left-handed. There's a term called ambidextrous, where it's like you can use your left hand right, but majority of the time I'm using my left.
Do your younger sister and your parents are also using the left hand?
No, they're all
only
right.
you.
Yeah, it's only me.
Why? Why so freak?
Freak?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's not freak. It's that like jerks. Because you know, in China, people always say something like someone using the left hand, they are more smart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the opposite in our culture.
My grandma also using the left hand, but she tried her best, trying to using the right hand. I can't